artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Sky. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sky and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, this week it is almost Halloween. I can't believe it. The time is flying. I think October should be longer so we can enjoy it longer. I have a really fun still life, Halloween themed still life for today's tutorial. Going to take everyone through it step by step. I have my 4 brushes that I use in most of my classes for today's painting tutorial as well. I have a large wash brush. This is a 3/4 inch wash brush. And then I have 3 pointed brushes of different sizes. I have a size 3, which is covered with paint, size 10, size 3, and a size 3/0, little tiny one. I'm gonna get those in my water cup off the side of the screen. The colors that we have to start for today, this is just for the background step. I have a fair amount of white, some cobalt blue, some black, some cadmium yellow, and some burnt sienna warm brown. To see a full materials list of everything that you need to paint along, check the description box below. It'll take you to my materials page where it will break it down and show you everything that I use and recommend. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in with our background step. All right, so I'm going to grab my second to smallest detail brush, and we're gonna do something that is sort of like sketching first to block things out. And I'm going to use a light gray, just something that will be easily coverable with our light brown and also our blue that we're going to use here in just a moment. I'm going to come from the top and go maybe about an inch, a little less than an inch probably of the way down. And then I'm going to go about the same distance with a vertical line. Just sort of using the squareness of the canvas here, the straight edges to help me with my straight edges. And I'm going to bring this all the way down, almost all the way down to the lower portion, but a little further up than we have up here so that we can have a little bit more room to put our still life. Okay. And again, I am just trying to square things off. Now I'm going to grab my large brush and fill in this center part and then also the outside edge with different colors. So we're going to do a small gradation inside of our window for our night sky. I'm going to use my big brush. You could use your medium-sized pointed brush if you would prefer. A little bit more control can be helpful. We're going to take a little bit of black and mix it in with blue and some white. We're gonna come up with a beautiful navy blue midnight sky color. And right in my window with horizontal brush strokes and a little bit of water mixed into my paint color, I'm going to go across and I'm going to try to come up with fairly straight lines and fairly neatly fill in my inside rectangle here. We will have a chance to sort of tidy up the edges once we come in with the brown, so don't worry too much, but brown and blue will blend to a sort of not that great color for this composition at least, since they are opposite each other on the color wheel. If you were thinking about brown as an orange tone, the orange and the brown will mix with the blue. Weird things will happen. It will be sort of neutral, maybe even a little bit green with the yellow and the brown. So we want to trying to be neat with our filling in here. Then we're going to work our way towards the bottom, gradually getting a little bit lighter. That's going to be our gradation inside of our window. And the first pass of color doesn't have to be the perfect one. You can go over this a couple times. This is probably a little light. Okay, back and forth, long, smooth brush strokes. Going to darken things a little bit though, since it is nighttime. So a little darker to start, and then I'll darken the top a little too, but you can blend right on top of that color that you just laid down as well. Darken things up, lighten them. It'll be a kind of back and forth play with the darker and lighter tones to get a nice gradation. Let's do a little more saturated of a night sky color up top too. Okay. Nice smooth brush strokes, a little bit overlapping the sides, okay. And then once you get a good gradation, just call it good. So it could take quite a long time if you are a perfectionist. All right, now I'm going to grab my medium-sized brush really quick, and I'm going to bring some white over some of the areas just to lighten them up a little bit so that they're easier to cover here in just a minute. And it will blend a little bit to blue, but what we're trying to do is just lay down that white and get a nice clean edge. Just like that, just any areas where you went a little far over. Okay, and then let's just take a half second here, or a couple minutes, and let that dry real quick. Doesn't need to dry all the way, but probably like at least 85% dry. And we'll come in with the brown as well. Or let's let it dry a little further than that, because I want to actually block out these window beams as well. So let's step away, no hurry, no rushing. All right, and we'll come back in just a minute. You can keep those same colors on your piece of palette paper though. All right, I'll see everyone in a few. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have that first blue and white layer dry, and it's time to add our window and windowsill. Let's grab our largest square brush again, and I'm going to mix up just a really simple light brown color using a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown, and a fair amount of white. And I'm going to take this light brown color and try to get a nice clean line right on top of the remaining white canvas and into the blue a little bit. And this could be a different color if you wanted. If you wanted to make it look more like your house. Maybe your walls are white or gray or purple. Whatever you like is great. Or it can be your imaginary house too. Customizable. Okay, trying my best to get a straight line. it's okay if things are a little bit wonky. It's just the hand-painted look. Okay, a little bit more space down here for all of our gorgeous harvest items. Looks good. Okay. Okay, I'm going to grab my medium-sized brush for the smaller part of our window. Okay, and I'm just going to eyeball halfway. You could use a ruler or any kind of straight edge if you wanted to do this properly. But I like to wing things. I'm not a math kind of gal. I like the freedom that art provides. No rules or rulers. Okay, and right in half again, longways. I like to go usually one line across as straight as I can and then come back and thicken things up a little bit. Okay, pretty cute. Now also with that same medium-sized brush, I'm going to do a quick pass of a second color, darker brown. And that just adds a little bit of interest, sort of like wood grain. And I'm just going to swipe it through each area, kind of framing our window again. And then across the bottom here too. Okay. Fairly simple background. Almost done with our first layer. And let's see, clean things up a little bit here and there. Bear with me. Okay. For an added touch of whimsy, let's add a crescent moon with some white. I have my second to smallest brush for this, and just a tiny bit of white. I'm just gonna do what we call a fingernail moon, just a tiny little sliver. I know full moons are maybe a little spookier, but I love the way a crescent moon looks too. A little thicker than initially intended, but that's okay. Then I'm gonna use the back of my brush to put some stars near my moon and throughout. This whole section. More stars up top than below, because up top would be darker. But a couple here as well. Always like to add a touch of whimsy. If you follow along with me, then you'll know that. All right, that looks really cute. Let's take another break and let everything that we did here dry. When we come back, we can work on our foreground, which is going to be our gorgeous pumpkins and all the good stuff that we want to put in our still life. All right, I'll see everyone in another couple minutes. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a dry background layer and fresh new colors and a new piece of palette paper. A lot of white, fair amount of black, some more of our burnt sienna, a little bit more of our cadmium yellow, as well as some cadmium orange. I have some phthalo green, some cobalt blue again, and a little bit of cadmium red too. Lots of colors, full rainbow. But what we are going to start with today is blocking out our pumpkin shapes with white. A little bit unconventional, but I know that the beautiful brown and blue colors here are not going to have very good coverage if we were to try to go right on top of them with a yellow orange. So let's block out our main pumpkins first. And I'm going to be thinking about my composition this whole time. Even though we're just using white, I'm thinking about how this is going to be my smaller blue pumpkin. And then I'm also going to do a taller orange pumpkin. And I'm just going to start with the shapes. It's almost like a heart shape on top. And then rounder on the bottom. But like still a little bit of a heart shape on the bottom too. All right, and then I'm gonna put another little pumpkin right next to that cute blue one. And this really can be however you like. You can have as many pumpkins in as many different colors as you'd like, fully customizable. And then a tall pumpkin too. So the tall pumpkin is a little less dramatic of a heart shape at the top there, a little gentler curves. So pretty. Okay. Main pumpkin shapes blocked out with white. Now you can think about whatever you'd like to add in your still life. Again, customizable. I'm gonna have 3 pumpkins, and then I'm going to grab a smaller brush and I'm going to block out a cylinder shape for a candle. So just a long rectangle, keeping it really easy. Slightly curved base. And slightly curved top. Okay, just a basic cylinder shape, really simple. And then I think it would be nice to do a little bit of greenery. So I'm going to block out some leaf shapes here and there. And I'm going to start by doing sort of like the vine shape. A couple brush strokes. And then I'll turn some of these into leaves. You can have sort of whatever shape of leaf that you like. Usually I'll do sort of like a point and then a couple brush strokes. Kind of coming out in these little additional points. Just because every still life usually needs a bit of greenery. I don't want to make it look too much like holly berries though. And since that's on that nice light brown color, I think we might even be able to take some green into our greenery right now even. And let it blend with the white a little bit. Like pumpkin leaves, perhaps. Vines and leaves. Okay, I want to take a darker green and go right down the center of my leaves. And a little bit on the sides too. Just going through each one. I feel like I'm getting a little bit Christmassy with these colors, but I guess that is the next seasonal logical progression. Trying to make some sort of a logical shape out of these. But I want them to kind of be like crunchy little dried out pumpkin leaves. Just getting our first base colors on. And then let's see if our pumpkin is dry enough to add some blue. It is. So I have my medium-sized brush. I'm going to fill in with my base color, which is going to be a light blue, blue and white together, a little lighter than our background, since we don't want that to get lost in the background. That's just the base color. Now on the base shape. Let's see if we can do base colors on our other blocked out pumpkin shapes too. This I'm going to do the classic pumpkin color. Orange, of course, and I'd like to add a little bit of yellow. My yellow is not very clean anymore. Sneak a little bit in there. That looks pretty good. If your paint starts to come up, you will need to just step away for a minute. But Things are drying pretty quickly for me. Base color of 2 orange pumpkins. Pretty cute. See if I can save my greenery. Don't like how it turned out. Just add some quick green leaves, but then it looks too much like holly. I'm gonna change the color up in just a minute. But I'm gonna work on these pumpkins for a bit. Okay, I got a pinch more yellow because I am going to need that in my highlight step, but I'm going to do that first with my blue pumpkin. And I'm going to use my same medium-sized brush. And what I want to do is I want to take a lighter blue, 1 step lighter, but not white. And I'm going to come right in the center here, do sort of like a oval shape. And then another oval shape, and then another one right on the edge. Okay, then I'm going to rinse my brush, grab a little bit of that base color underneath, and blend a little bit. Just softening the edges just a little bit where it needs it. There's a little bit of wet on wet blending that's going to happen naturally. But you can see how segmented that already makes that pumpkin look. I'll bring that a little bit higher. Cute though. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my adorable little pumpkin. Section right in the center. Right next to it, in between, and then on the outside edge. Feel free to use your smaller brush in there too, if you prefer. I really feel comfortable with this brush size. Blend if needed. If it looks pretty good, you can probably just leave it. I love how much that adds. Just such a simple step. So much depth. Okay. Third and final pumpkin. Exactly the same, only a little bit longer because we have our longer shaped pumpkin. Okay. I think it's pretty cute. It's coming together. Okay. I'm going to grab my small brush again. I'm gonna work around my Still Life shapes real quick with a darker brown. And now that I know where my pumpkins are sitting, can do just a little bit of a shadow right where they touch the windowsill or whatever this flat space is next to our window, maybe a table. And I'm gonna go right underneath it and then do a few half or back and forth horizontal brush strokes, shadowing where our pumpkin is. And we can do this around our candle too, and even a little bit around our leaves that I am going to fix in just a moment. So shadowing shapes and then horizontal small brush strokes. Really simple step. Let's take that same color. I'm gonna make it a little bit richer even. And tidy things up a little bit with our windowsill. So I'm going to take the dark brown and outline the outside edge. Sort of an outline, sort of a shadow. Around each portion of the window, each quarter. Final chance to make sure that looks neat and tidy. Okay. Come very far, everyone who's painting along. I'm proud of you for making it this far. Home stretch, everybody. If you are painting along with me today, I would love to see your work. And I've created a Facebook group called the Art Club, where you can do just that. You can share your work with me and the other students that are taking the classes. We are thousands of members strong over there. Wonderfully active, supportive, kind community of artists of all skill levels. We would love to have you join us over there so we can see your gorgeous masterpieces. The link in the description box will take you over there. I also put links in the comments section and make it easy for you guys to find. Now remember, if you go heavy-handed in any area, you can always take a little bit of a lighter brown again and touch things up a little bit. Lighten it up again. Things are looking fairly tidy with our background. Okay, I think it would be nice to grab my medium-sized brush again and just for a final little touch in the wood section. Gonna take a little bit of a highlight color and like a different, slightly different shade of brown. A lot of shades of brown and wood. Beautiful natural tones. Just sort of tidy things up one last time. Cute. Okay, back in our pumpkins, we're going to use that same medium-sized brush. Things should be a little bit drier. And I'm going to come in with a shadow color now, which is going to be, for my blue pumpkin, of course, a dark blue. So that's just a little bit more blue paint and a little bit of black. And I'm going to, from the base, come up right in between those lighter colored sections. You want it to blend a little bit, and then right from the center down to paint should be a little tacky still, but if you didn't get the blend that you like, just go right back with some medium blue. Blending slightly, don't want too much shadow, but you definitely want to get it on there. The blending helps things not look quite so stripey. Okay, and then with our pumpkin, we're going to take a little bit of red and a little bit of brown to make our shadow color. Let's go a little darker than that. Coming up from the bottom and down from the top. Didn't get quite the blend that I wanted in there. So I'm going to tidy things up a little bit. The yellow helps things not be so pastel. Okay, looks a little better. And since we have the same color pumpkin, we'll just use the same color shadow for this guy too. Okay, I think with those ones, I'm going to take my smaller brush and take a little bit of warm brown, tidy up the base a little bit, maybe that same shadow color that I was using here in the ground, in the windowsill. And just tidy things up at the base there. And I see I pulled some of my greenery through things. So let's see if I can find my original windowsill color again and tidy that up a bit. Okay, so for my greenery also, I wanted to add some yellow to counteract the holly effect that we're getting. So I'm gonna take a really yellow green. Oh, I had some messiness over here too. Pulled my hand through it. That's all right. Just doing a couple quick passes with this small brush of this yellow color. Mainly just to make those not look like holly. couple highlights could be nice as well. Very much stylizing those. And a quick tidy up over here too. Okay, things are looking up, they're looking good. Let's take that same brush and do some white highlights now. I'm going to take that right along the brightest part of each of these sections. So within the light part. And that is the main idea, but if things look too stripy, you might want to let them get a little bit messy instead. Coming back in there with your brush, blending slightly here and there. I like blending with my bigger brush. A little too stripy with our blue pumpkin. Let's do some vibrant blue. An in-between color to help things out a little bit. Okay, a little better. Pretty cute. Okay, that looks a little better. And I think a little bit more orange over here too. Segments without too much stripiness. Okay. Let's grab our tiny brush again and do some stems. We're going to do that with a rich brown, plenty of warm brown left. And you can do kind of like a little curly Q shape is really cute. Or whatever you like. I think the curly Q looks the most whimsical. And then I'll take some black and outline one side. Coming into the bottom parts. And taking a quick pass of a light brown. Ooh, that was a little too much white. That looks okay. I'm just gonna leave that. And I wanted just a little subtle amount of light brown on there too. Okay, and I think it would look nice to outline our pumpkins. So I'm gonna do my blue pumpkin with a very dark blue. And I'll just use a very close to black brown for my orange pumpkins. Pretty much black. And I think since we've used black as a shadow color, we should pull it a little bit into our segments as well. From the top, pulling that down, and then maybe up a little bit too from the bottom. Right along where your other shadows are, really subtle. Okay, pretty cute, and I think our leaves, even though they're not my favorite, deserve a little bit of outlining too. And I can kind of work the shape a little bit more. Yeah, they look a little better. We're going with it, that's okay. Didn't have a good plan for the greenery. Added that last minute. Practiced my pumpkin shapes though. But that does help. And I think a little bit of shadow. Okay, I don't have very much palette left, but I think I'd like to still try to do a candle, and I'm going to do my candle in red. And I'm going to do a little curved line at the top so that an oval shape remains at the top part. And I'm going to fill the base of the candle in just with red. And do a slight curved shape at the bottom too. Then I'm going to take a lighter red to fill into that top oval. With a special highlight right on the front in that first curve. And then I'm going to take some highlight coming down the candle from the center. And then off to the sides a little bit, so I'm making it look round. And then I'm taking a dark red. I'm going to bring some shadow kind of up from the base and then along either side. Sorry about all the noises in my neighborhood. It never is fully silent. That's what you get for living downtown in a rural area. You can hear all the work trucks and everything go by. Okay, that's cute though. I'm gonna take a little bit of a nice bright glowy yellow. And do a quick flame. It's a little curved shape, almost like an S. I have a little bit too much water there. That kind of works. And the wick connecting to the middle of the candle. Then I'll outline things slightly with black on my red candle. Make everything look as consistent as possible in our cute little composition. I'm gonna let that dry for just a minute before I add one more pass. But you can do any other little final details that you might want on your composition. Let's see. I'm gonna clean up my table a little bit still. Maybe add a bit more shadow. Right where my pumpkin sits. Okay, and I think I need a little bit more orange on some of my pumpkins segments. Yeah, I wanna not have such a dark black section there, but I might have to let it dry a little more. But that looks a little better. Okay, and I just wanted it to be really a vibrant orange. But pretty cute, very festive, that's for sure. Okay, tidied up my flame, and then I'm gonna do a little white even in the center to give it a little extra glow. Tidy up my wick there. Okay, that was a lot of painting today. Thank you so much for painting along. Don't forget to join me over in the art club. I can't wait to see your masterpieces from this week. But that is all the instruction that I have for all of us. So until next time, very happy Halloween.